What's up guys, the long-awaited patch 12.10 durability update is out, and there are a lot of questions surrounding Viego and whether he's good, bad, what to build, and what runes to take. I'm here to answer all your questions, so I hope you enjoy. Okay, first off is runes. The thing about the runes is they didn't actually change that much. Conqueror did receive a small nerf, but all healing in the entire game got nerfed, so technically the healing that Conqueror received in context with everything else isn't actually a big deal. Fights are going to be longer, everybody's tankier, so realistically, Conqueror should perform better, actually now, despite the nerf, than it did before. Now, Press the Attack is a good option, and it didn't get nerfed, so you can actually mess around with Press the Attack, see if you like it. I think that Conqueror will be a little better, but against squishier teams, Press the Attack could be the best. Also, Legend Tenacity, always a good option if they have a lot of CC. I would 100% take this every time the enemy team has a bunch of CC, but if not, then take attack speed. Other than that, this is just going to be your standard rune page for just about every game. Next, we'll take a look at the builds. Now, I know there's a lot of questions about what mythic people are going to take. Some people are saying Kraken Slayer is going to all of a sudden be great, Divine Sunder is not as good anymore, etc, etc. So, I'm going to give you two builds that I've practiced a bunch on the PBE that has given me a lot of success, and these are probably the only two viable builds that you'll ever want to go. Full crit is bad. I just don't think it's good. Everybody's tankier. If you can't one-shot somebody, what's even the point? With that being said, the first build is the standard build. Red Smite, Bork, Tank Boots, Divine Sunder, Death Stance, Maw, GA. It's kind of boring. I know a lot of Viego mains think this build is boring, but the reality is this build makes you Thanos. Every game I built it on the PBE, it took me like 30 seconds to die, even if I was behind. I was able to extend team fights forever. This build is just broken. Honestly, Viego's just broken in general in this patch. He's just unkillable to survive every fight, so I think this build is definitely the ideal way to build Viego for this patch. The only other build that I would consider to be viable would be this Kraken build, where you go Bork into Kraken Slayer into Lord Doms, or even Bork into Kraken into Death Stance. The reason why this build is viable is because instead of building full crit where you fully purely rely on one-shots, this build actually does have really good sustained damage throughout a fight, and Bork gives you some survivability with lifesteal. You can still itemize into Death Stance Maw if you need to, and this build is pretty versatile, so it's honestly a toss-up between which build I think is best. I think Divine Sunder is more consistent, but there is a world where Kraken Slayer is more valuable, especially since now you're tankier, so it's harder for you to just get blown up and punished for building Kraken Slayer. So I think it'll, come down to what Viego players prefer. I'm going to run both, see which one I like. So far, I'm liking Divine Sunder more, but it is up to preference, and I know a lot of people love Kraken Slayer, so feel free to go that if you want. Now for the jungle clear. I highly recommend full clear in most games, and let me explain why. In patch 12.10, everybody gets scaling HP, armor, magic resist. Everybody's basically a lot tankier. A lot of people will tell you that at level 3 and 4, it's basically not noticeable at all, but it is noticeable for junglers, because junglers don't have any items. You pretty much just have your Skirmisher Saber and your base stats. So if the enemy has higher base stats, even at just level 3 and 4, it's going to impact how well you're able to gank. So realistically, ganks are going to be harder to pull off, or at least kills are going to be harder to pull off in the first few levels. So the best thing you can do is just play it safe and actually just full clear. Every game that I full cleared on the PBE, obviously it's the PBE, but so far every game that I've full cleared has been my best level of success. The games where I tried to risk it and go for early kills, it was very, very difficult to pick them up. I don't know if I'm just like crazy or what, but it just felt like everybody was just invincible to me in the early game, which is to be expected given the fact that everybody is going to be tankier. So realistically, just go for the full clear. Junglers love to full clear, let's be honest. I just want to reiterate that if I'm telling you to full clear, that doesn't mean you should full clear in every single game. There's of course games where you need to get a level 3 gank off, you need to gank after 3 camps, the enemy team is doing something absolutely illegal on the Rift that you can punish them for. You should never settle for a full clear every single game, but I will say that in my experience, full clearing is the thing that's going to give you the most consistency, especially now that there's a lot more tankiness on the Rift and a lot more difficulty getting kills during ganks. So I would just try to use your own judgment. Be smart. Be an adaptable jungler. Don't be a one path Andy. You know, like just do what you got to do to get wins. And as you can see, it is still possible to get kills. I mean, it just is a little bit harder. So use your own discretion, and I hope that helps. So in conclusion, my final thoughts on Viego are that he's actually going to be really strong in this next patch and probably will eventually get nerfed. The thing about Viego is that he has a lot of percent health damage, which is going to get extraordinarily rewarded in this new patch, as well as the fact that Viego's biggest weakness was that he could get locked down, CC'd, and one-shot in team fights, even with tanky items. But now that he's just even a little bit extra tanky with Death Dance, Maw, it's just going to be really, really hard to ever deal with Viego. And so if you are interested in Viego, this is the time to play him. Take the runes that I suggested, build what I suggested, and I promise you, you are going to succeed on the Rift. If you ever had any difficulties with Viego, I'm sure that this will be the patch that you finally get it together. If you guys want any extra tips, make sure to subscribe to the channel, ask me anything in the comments, and I promise I will respond. So thank you for watching, much love, and have a great day.